Yo, what is up, travelers? My name is Zone Fanfic. Welcome back to the Sing Zone. I'm here with my man, I Got Fame. What's going on, Fame?
What's up? What it do? What it do? I'm I got fame, and if you don't know me, I'm a YouTuber, content creator. I've done some music production, but mostly I'm a writer. I'm a father, and I just really love hip hop, the culture, and just black and brown.
Yeah, I've been wanting to do this for a while, and I'm glad I finally got the opportunity to get you on here to be able to, we want to do the cold reaction as soon as it released, but as circumstances prevail, we finally got to sit down and react. I think I'm not even gonna cap. I've already reviewed the album, so this is not gonna be like an album reaction today. I think for me, I don't know if you've reacted to it already, but for me,
Not yet. No, I
I'm
mean, I mean, I have. I think I'm on my third listen,
okay.
and it was probably wise that we didn't do the reaction initially because that would have been a lot harsher than I'm probably going to be.
Right,
Because
right.
it was look. Here's the thing about Cole, though. I'm a fan of Cole, so you got to hold him to a high standard, right?
And I feel like okay. I feel like today's gonna be one of the days where a lot of people are gonna like me because I'm already pretty straightforward. But you guys know, for the travelers out there, you guys know how much I like hip hop. But I personally, we've been following this whole beef thing for a while,
Mhm.
and I think that sort of coincides with what we're going to be sort of talking about today. There's going to be a few more things that we're going to hopefully we can get to if we have time. But yeah, I don't know how what do you did you want to do a full reaction today? Did you want to give your thoughts on it? I don't know if we can get a rating out of you yet. I got my rating. I'm already set.
I have my rating too.
Okay.
So I'm set with the rating. I guess if we can, I don't know if I don't know what you mean by full reaction. I know it's pretty. Damn it, Cole. It's a pretty lengthy album, but I don't know if you want to discuss each track, maybe a little bit of each track.
We could do that. We could do that. Let me see. Where can I get a list at? YouTube?
Yeah.
All right, let me
YouTube,
go
I
to
think
yeah, we can get a list.
Genius too. Genius has the whole track
Yeah,
list.
yeah, let me go to Genius. Hold on, let me. There we go. Yeah, because all right. Man, I got thoughts. I got thoughts on this one. Let me see. So the fall off, right? Here we go. That's not what I want to do. All right, can we see it?
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So yeah, this is the fall off. So there's a total of 24 tracks. That's a big. It's a double album. It's a double album. How are we feeling so far on this?
I
Did you
mean,
want?
just the number itself, like when you see the track list and you're like 20, really 24? Like, okay.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. It's a lot of time to invest. And it could have been short songs, but here's the thing.
Mhm.
There's a few of them that are like 5, 6, really 5, 6. We listen, I follow Curtis King religiously, and
Me and you both.
he talks about being responsible with your time when you're creating
Yeah.
music. And 5, 6 minutes is not responsible, man. That's wild. That's playing with people's time.
It's
But
playing. Yeah, I
yeah.
can see that. I can see. What were some of the tracks that you picked that off of? Like, were there particular songs out of the album where you were like, "This is a bit lengthy. This is a bit like you're trying to."
Yeah, let me see my
Okay.
notes. I know I wrote some notes. I know Poor Thing was
Okay.
nearly 5 minutes, and I just feel like it just he says like picture my soul climbing out of the infinite holes, and I was like, damn, ayo, like what? Come on, like it's a lot of those lines were just
Lyrical Miracle.
yeah,
Okay.
definitely, yeah.
Yeah. I'm with you. I'm with you. I feel like there is definitely like there's a lot of fluff in this album. And I think that I'm gonna come off. I don't want to come off as a hater. I have a lot of just to backtrack a little bit. There are some cult projects that I like that I appreciate, and I'm gonna give it to him. He can rap. He can rap.
Hmm.
And I don't think no one's saying that he can't rap. But I'm looking at this album as to like, what does this album represent as opposed to all the other projects that you have, right?
Right.
And what does that mean today? And I think he tried to do a little bit of something with, sort of mirroring the 29, making a double album, one of the album representing around the age of 29, one of the albums representing around the age of 39. 10 years apart, that's a good amount of time for a person to grow and develop. But even that, like I don't feel like there's any. And maybe look, it's completely possible that there is something that I missed that may, challenge the fact that there's nothing inherently different between these 10 years. If you guys think so, let me know. Let me know down below because I don't know. I'm not entirely sure. Is there anything that you picked up?
Well, we have to also keep in mind
Yeah.
that yeah, it's been 10 years, but he's basing album 1 or the first half of it as him in his 29th year, right?
Right.
So he's already from just by the track list, you know that all right, 29. So this is the age of 29. So we're gonna already see a change of age and a change of maturity is what he's setting up.
Okay.
So if we don't see that, he's already lied to us. Because if
I
we don't see that
mm,
that maturity from 29 to wait, so we're expecting you to act one way when you're 29, and we're expecting something from you. But
right.
we're obviously not going to expect that same of immaturity when you're 39.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, again, yeah, I gotta agree with you. I feel like yeah, you definitely said something there, right? It's kind of a lie. It's kind of a lie, and that was a red flag for me when I
Mm,
first, when I first did my first listen through, because I peeped out immediately. Okay, 30, 29. I see the concept here. I picked it up, but I was like, okay, what is he trying to say? And I didn't really get an overwhelming like this is what he's trying to say in this album, other than falling off. But even that, he's like, I'm trying to rebuild myself. So it's like, are you falling off, or are you falling out? I feel like I feel like this project would have been better titled "The Fallout," and he could have dropped some just one more track that were, maybe taking away a few more tracks. That one track, he should have made it like a undeniable banger. I don't think there's anything undeniable on this project. I feel like there's hits, nothing undeniable.
I agree with you. There is a couple hits. I think it should have been called Undecisive. I think that would have been a good title for it.
Undecisive.
Because at times, and maybe he just didn't structure the songs in the correct order, but there was just a lot of, and I get it, we're all hypocrites. Like
To a degree.
can
Yeah.
admit this, but this guy was like flopping around so much. You would think he was like a politician because it's he talks about
Mm.
maturing one song and then the next song. I'm like, is this in order or am I supposed to put these in order?
Right. Yeah,
So
I agree. I agree because I was trying to again I was trying to like paint a picture in terms of like a storyline. But I was like, maybe I'm looking at this all wrong. Maybe this is sort of like a mirror thing. And I'm like, it does seem all over the place where you
yeah,
have songs that are jabby. You got songs where he's talking about people back at home, like Old Dog and Poor Thing, which I think again I got like 6 or 7 on this album where I'm like, yeah, this is cool. I like
yeah.
these 6 songs out of the entire project, But yes, I
Oh, like you mentioned, Old Dog. Old Dog was one that stood out. I have my notes on that. That's one that I liked.
what are
But
your thoughts on
again,
that?
Old Dog. What did I write on my notes? I put that bass stood out to me. Like there was this bass that was just like it was just slapping, and it was the Pac esque strings. You realize did you catch the strings like there was just something about the strings that remind me of like Pac, just Pac in the 90s. And then I think at one point he did mention in the song, like he came with like that Pac energy. It was fun. It was a fun song, but again, this was one of his most hypocritical ones, I think, at times.
Yeah.
It showed his immaturity more than it showed his immaturity more than it showed his growth.
That was on the 29 one, right? That was Old Dog. That was on the first album, right?
Yeah, 29, 29. Yeah.
So I think some of this, yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right on the money. Like it's supposed to reflect some level of immaturity.
Right, right.
And then let's see, 29, 39. Let's see, the fall off is inevitable. Villas was all right. I'm gonna get into the more controversial takes, a little hot takes, a little later. But old Peter Pablo, I feel like that was very like Atlanta anthem type.
And maybe that's what I liked about it. The sound, the sound in it was just I mean, the beat, that's a different thing. Like if we're rating these just by the beats,
Yeah,
they would be rated differently.
I
But
agree.
it's got to be a mixture. Like I melt them. Like I'm like, all right, if I take his lyrics and if he's just doing poetry, then it's one thing. But you're trying to tell a story to using the beat and you're using lyrics, and
Mhm.
that's a different job. That's a different task within itself. It's not the same.
Can you dive deeper into that a little bit?
It's just if I'm doing poetry, there's less of a tone being set by the beat. So
Mm,
I can basically do almost like a nursery rhyme poetry, right?
okay.
And I can make that nursery rhyme poetry sound like I'm gonna murder little Bo Peep sheep,
Yeah.
and it can tell my intentions based on the beat that if I add a beat to it. But if I'm just saying the nursery rhyme, then it's just a nursery rhyme and it comes out that way. But again, that the beat, the combination, and I've heard even Curtis say this too, that you have to marry a beat with the tone of what you're trying to articulate,
Right.
if that makes any sense. I know when it comes down to like lyricism and art, it's like it's difficult because I mean, I'm not a musician. I wouldn't consider myself a musician, but I feel like I'm more of a poet. And don't get me wrong, he's a writer. He's a great writer, amazing writer. But again, you're not just a writer in this scene. You're an artist. You have to now bring the world of music and the world of lyricism or poetry, and you have to bring it together as one.
I agree. Yeah, I definitely get that this project was rushed. It feels rushed.
I didn't even think about that. That's a good point. I didn't even
I
think about that.
he's saying like I don't again he says yeah he says he's been working on it for like 10 years. I feel like he's been working on it since GNX. I don't want to go I don't want to maybe I do maybe I don't. I don't know. But there are some instances where I feel like there's a lot of nostalgia overload in this album. You've got a little bit of Queen Latifah influence. I think I was Safety. Let me see some of the songs here. You got, let me see, 2 6. I feel like there was a little bit of Drake influence in there.
There's a couple songs in here that I'm like, I think the last two
Mhm.
as well. The last two were like
Last.
not the last. I think the last one, because his biggest mistake, I think, is that at least musically, is that he didn't use singers. He tried to sing, and
Tried to sing it.
he's singing like he can't sing. And don't get me wrong, he doesn't have a bad voice, but it's like you're not a singer. You could have made more of an impact on these songs, getting actual singers that can sing.
Right. I agree. I agree. I feel like, yeah. Let me take it back even further. I feel like this is a freshman project. I feel like this feels
Yeah.
a lot like, like a Jid freshman project. I feel like Jid's album was better than this, to be honest.
I was
But
hoping you'd say that. I was hoping you
that's just my personal take. Yeah, like I mean, it feels like it was a lot of mashup in this. You was making callbacks to New York and Atlanta. I was like, you're not from any of those places. You're from
Ooh,
North
that's a good
Carolina.
point. That is a good point.
I was like, bro, like, what are we doing here? And then we got the North Carolina anthem in there, which was sort of, which was even, I don't even know if I would call that a North Carolina anthem. I would kind of, it's like Atlanta coded right there. But I don't know, maybe that's just my ignorance when it pertains to the East Coast.
But I will say this: he did a wonderful job with the nostalgia. Like he
Hmm.
hit some of those like nostalgia. He got the nostalgia points there, where you're like, oh man, he got me with this one. But on the nostalgia aspect of it, because
Uh,
when you actually wake up and you're like, wait a minute, I see what you're trying to do.
yeah.
Then it's like then you feel kind of lied to, and you're like, you come back
Mhm.
to the okay. Let me listen to the lyrics. Let me listen to the actual product.
Yeah, he tried to take us back on memory lane.
Yeah,
He straight up because it's nostalgia overload. He's got freaking what if Usher's singing some sorry Usher Future singing some Usher lyrics.
yeah.
You got a freaking Common influences in here. He's taking us back to what if he's taking us back to Biggie and Pac, and that was completely like off the wall. I was like, bro, you just like you whitewashed it almost. You kind of
Mm,
whitewashed the whole
okay.
situation there, and maybe that's the wrong word. I mean, like he kind of belittled the whole situation, right?
So yeah, you brought up the common song. That's probably gotta be my favorite, one of my favorite top two.
What if?
Yeah, no, I love her again.
Oh, I love her. Let me see. Hold
But
on. What was that?
what if is the biggie, and so
Oh
that's
yeah.
I have a problem with that song. I don't know if you want to talk about it now.
What if?
What if?
Or
Yeah.
yeah, we can talk about it.
Okay, so what if is heavy fucking projection. He's
Hmm.
projecting like I
I
think
I know where you're going.
here's here's my thing, and maybe people are not going to like hearing this, but I think this was originally a love letter to Drake.
I thought it
This
was.
was this was an apology letter to Drake, and because I know him and Drake have had a little bit of a fallout since then. I don't really think he's worried too much about Kendrick. He already apologized on stage. I think it's like, oh man, I lost my brother, and let me write this love letter,
I would
and
hate that.
and then what ended up happening is I think somebody might have told him like, "Hey, you don't want to do this. Like, it's not going to be what you think it is." So he's like, "All right. So how can I? Let me see. How can I tell the same story and subliminally tell somebody I love them? And well, easy. I'll use Pac and Biggie to clean this up." And what did I put? I'm like, using Pac and Biggie to clean up personal guilt feels manipulative, is what I put in my note. I mean, I could be wrong. I could be totally wrong. That's just when I heard it, like I heard it like 3 times consecutively, and I'm like, I don't like this one. First
So
of all,
he,
you're using Pac, one of our, I know he's not from the Bay, born in the Bay, but he's like legend. Like we've adopted Pac.
yeah, I was thinking it was more so to Kendrick because I mean, Puerto Antonio was already for me. It was like that was a like apology to Drake. Like, you're still my brother. You know, I'm always love Drake. You know, type of song, and then he needed one for Kendrick, even because I'm sure he's seen all the backlash. You know, with the apology, and we've been bagging him for a few years at the very least. So he had to drop something, and I think this was his way, basically trying to gaslight his fan base into saying it could have been some West East Coast, and I avoided that because I'm the bigger man, and I'm like, bro, you're bullshitting me right now. You're not even on that level to where we would even look at you like an East Coast person to he like first off, you have to represent the East Coast, and you don't represent the East Coast like that.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't know how to describe like his catalog other than like contemporary.
Okay.
Even like songs like The Let Out, right? Or he basically, I thought that was one of my, like, I was looking at the whole project and I picked that up and I was like, out of all the songs, this is probably my number one on the album. And
Really?
yes, yeah.
Okay.
And I said that it was unpopular opinion, but I said that because I'm looking at like his history and what he consistently tries to do and where he consistently tries to go. He does try to do the singing thing. You see that in Forest Hill Drive. You see that in Born Sinners.
Don't say she don't want to be saved. That's what I got from that.
Right. Even
From
like
the let out.
right, right. So when I heard Let Out, I was hearing the guitars and I was like, that sounds kind of like
Spanish guitars.
contemporary Latin, yeah, Latin contemporary rock.
And don't get me wrong, he kind of had me because hey, Mexican. So I'm like, ooh, what's that? And I'm like over there trying to dance, and I'm like, wait, hold on, hold on. And I'm like, I've heard this recently before by somebody,
Yeah.
and that dude started off the song where he's like, I want to meet your padre.
Mhm.
So I'm like, is Cole right now gonna pull I want to meet your madre?
What?
And I'm like, let me listen to this. Luckily he did.
I get that. Yeah.
He didn't, but I felt like he was close to.
I heard it and I was like, oh, he's trying to do a whacked out murals. As soon as like the first like guitars instruments start playing, I was like, he's trying to do whacked out murals. But I was like, that's not where he's going with this. It's an all right song, but in terms of a fully contextualized song, I think it works for Cole. And that's how I'm sort of grading a lot of this. Like whether or not I feel like it works for Cole, I'm not even grading it as does it work in terms of best rapper alive, because he's not even on that list for me. I feel like he's a very basic rapper. But I mean, that's because some of my favorites are like Lupe and then you got, Mick Jenkins, all that. I like lyricists. He's a lyricist, but he's not on that list of lyricists. I wouldn't say he's on the top of that list, but yeah, definitely the contemporary rock. When you look at contemporary rock, it works because you can kind of go back into like Prince, right? Prince was very revolutionary when it pertains to contemporary rock in black spaces, right? Sort of bringing that into like hip hop spaces and stuff like that. But then even more recently, I was like, it almost feels a little it almost feels a little like it's not like there's something missing in it to where I was like, it almost feels a little post Malone-ish. I don't know what it is, but it feels like it could be a little post Malone-ish, and it didn't hit like that like it could have.
No, no. I mean, don't get me wrong though. And when I was writing I'm like, all right, the concept of it, surviving the chaos of the after club, I wrote, or surviving the chaos after the club. But I just feel like, why do you keep putting yourself in these situations, right? Like you keep putting yourself in situations where you're not mentally prepared for. And I get we're not. I get it. I get what he was trying to say. And I'm like, oh man. And at first, I'm like, visually, I'm like, yeah, I've been in this situation where it's like, shoot, you leave a club and you're like, I'm just trying to get home, man. Right. But then
Right.
I'm like, I also know when I'm trying to make my way to my car, and I got shot at once just because I was wearing the wrong dark colored red button up. It
Yeah.
wasn't even that red, it was like burgundy or something. And I got shot at. So I'm like, okay, I get that. But also I would remember when I'd get back in my car and I'm like, why did I put myself in this situation? I didn't have to come out today. And so that's kind of what, like, I'm like, is this like a metaphor for you putting yourself in these like awkward situations?
I feel like it was, but specifically, I feel like he was hinting toward the situation he put himself in with mightily later,
Mhm.
specifically that 7 minute drill,
Okay.
right? I feel like he's trying to like massage his fan base and be like, I had to get out of there because, I got PTSD because, of the block getting shot up. And I was like, bro, what? First off, Drake is in Canada. He's
Right.
not in a. I don't think he's American unless he might have dual citizenship by now, but
I'm not
he
sure.
doesn't he doesn't have a pool like that in America. First off, number one. Number two, Dodd is a lot more disciplined than like a lot of people. I think they given credits. Like we could crash out. People on the West Coast, we could crash out, but we have discipline as well.
Right.
And I think that's just something that's an inherent bias on the people on the East Coast and the South that think that people on the West Coast are just a bunch of crash outs, and I get it. I kind of get it, but again, there's nuance in that. They like to ignore the nuance when it suits them. And
Yeah.
I hate
Mhm.
that. I hate that.
Yeah.
I think it's intentional, but I'm not entirely sure.
Don't get me wrong. They're not completely wrong. I feel like we are crash outs, but there's context to it. So that just like you say, but one thing that I'm learning from this project is that how did you follow Kendrick and the fact that he went to school for psychology?
I peeped that. I
To
know
go
right
courses?
before.
So here's what I believe. I feel like J. Cole took a course in subliminal advertisement.
Didn't he take like a degree? He did go to school for like something specifically.
I don't know. I'm partly trolling right now, but
No, you're onto something. Hold on real
it's
quick.
subliminal advertisement. He must have took a business class for advertising because a lot of the stuff that even now that we're talking, I'm like, oh, this dude packaged this in a different packaging.
Bro,
He's
you're not
trying to
gonna believe
deliver
it.
what?
He went to school. He went to school. He got a bachelor's in arts for
Okay.
communication and a minor in business. So what that tells me, people that go to school for
Mm, I didn't know that.
communication majors,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
they just
yeah.
care about the optics. They don't give a fuck about anything else. So
Yep.
bro,
I'm a psych
that's
major,
why
so I'm like, okay, okay, all right.
he's literally an optics guy. He's just an optics guy at the
Mhm.
core of his studies.
That's crazy.
And that makes so much more sense. Someone pointed this out in one of the streams I was in, and I was like,
Oh,
let me look at that. Yeah, let me look at this. Let me check this out. And yeah, this makes 100% sense now. Why it
crazy.
doesn't feel like it's coming from the heart, because it may not even be like for real anything of the stuff. Maybe I'll give him like benefit of the doubt, right? Maybe some of the stuff he's talking about, is accurate. Maybe, but we could already tell based off of the inconsistencies in what he's saying. He's saying he's gonna fall off. He's also rebuilding himself. So he's like rebuilding yourself to do what? To come back? Is a fall off to fall off? Now I saw some rumors that this was his last project.
That's
And
what? For a project this long, it better be. It better be because I've had arguments with people with like how long this is, and they're like, it's because it's his last album, man. This is his farewell. I'm like, okay, all right, fine. I'll give him that pass. It's that long because it's his farewell. Fine. But if he comes back and he drops, I actually heard today that he's thinking about doing a mixtape. There's like a mixtape in the works.
The boy, it's a boy.
Yeah. So I'm like, all right, you're gonna keep dropping music. Then you gave us music right now for like technically a couple years. Like, yeah,
it should have been a couple years, but I feel like a lot of the songs fall flat. Like, two of these songs are for his hometown. Like, he got beef with his own hometown. Like, you could have kept that as like one offs. You could have leaked that shit, kept that Poor Things. You could have kept that the Old Dog. It can stay on there. I'm gonna say I'm okay. Let me just list my tops. My top like 5 to 6. Right. I'm gonna say
6. Damn.
yeah. I'm gonna say Let Out. Is one of them.
Okay.
Who the fuck is you? That's another one. And I know there's some shots in there. There's shots in a lot of this, but yeah, Let Out. Who the fuck is you? A Poor Thing. Old Dog. A lot of people like Safety. I was like, all right, Safety's all right. Nothing to run home about.
Okay, you're not gonna like my list.
And then what was that? 4? Hit the Gas. Hit the Gas is one of them. What was it? Let Out. Who the fuck is you? Poor Thing. I say Old Dog and Hit the Gas. I think those are. I'm not buying a lot of this. I got older. I'm not petty. It's transformative. Right. 39 years old. Right. Shit. So I'm gonna stick with those 5. I'm gonna stick with those 5 for now. There was another one. That's why I was saying 6. And I'm trying to remember which one that was. Was it? Maybe it was I Love Her Again. I think it might have been I Love Her Again.
Yeah. So let's see. I'm looking at I made little notes. I was supposed to do thumbs up for the ones that I liked, and I just started going and writing different notes, and I forgot to thumbs up the ones that I was thinking about. But I wrote a lot of like, Cole, stop singing. Let's see. Like, and the whole world is the Ville.
Okay.
Man, I was torn because I'm a huge like Isley Brothers fan.
Okay.
And I feel like anything that has Isley Brothers in it, I just seem to like really love. But this one was like, I love the beat. I just don't like what he's really talking about. Like, I just don't like, it's not appealing to me. But I gave that one kind of like a half a thumbs just because of the beat. And there were a couple things that I'm like, all right, he didn't completely trash it. But for me, I have Safety, Drum and Bass, Old Dog, I Love Her Again, and Life Sentence. Life Sentence I put does not come off corny, even though it's like an homage type of, because those homage songs.
Yeah.
They come off like, all right, this is corny, but he's paying homage to a legend or 2 legends. And this one, it's mostly DMX, but you can kind of hear some type of like, just the flow at the beginning is like, oh man, this is like Biggie, like Biggie and Mace type. The beat was just like Biggie and Mace. It reminded me. And then he comes with like DMX. His voice is like DMX style. I'm like, oh shit, okay. So I like that one.
Right. Yeah. I thought I think the subtle homages was nice. It was a nice touch. I'll give that to him. I think I sort of I instinctively sort of put it to the side because there's a lot of nostalgia that I feel like he was trying to like overload on the, hey, we back in the 90s. Like, well, we're not. We're just not. It almost comes off like disconnected a little bit. Like he's not connected to where we are today. It doesn't reflect a lot of it. And I think that was another factor. Like, what does this mean? Who is the J. Cole we know today, right now? Not, 10 years, I don't even, you would think you would at least see some like, factors. Like, what were you? He's telling stories of other people in this. Yeah. I'm like, yo, this is supposed to be about you.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, and I do like the DMX. I do like the DMX joint. Like, it was cool. A nice little love song. Which that was I Love Her Again, right? That was a Life Sentence.
Life Sentence.
That was Life Sentence. Okay.
With the DMX, with the homage, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, all right.
I remember one of my notes I just put, doesn't come off corny, and I enjoyed this one.
But then also, did he go back and make that one after, Dot came out with the DMX, with the X chain? It was like, you know what? I'll personify DMX.
Look, I gave Cole the benefit of the doubt
Right.
and did not bring in Kendrick
Okay.
up until What If? Because once he was like, I'm like, even though I felt like it was more to Drake, I'm still like, but now you're referencing the beef again.
Yeah, but he's also calling himself like the best in here, and I'm
That's
like,
true. That's true.
come on, like
Yeah.
if you're trying to do the humble and the braggadocious, and it's not balancing properly, and you're also trying to do the modest guy, but also slide on you, and it's not balancing either. Like you're talking about sliding on people in your own neighborhood. First off, like we don't even know these people.
I felt like he was saying like, I'm the best in the gym.
Okay,
You know,
like
it's just like I'm good enough to if we're gonna spar, we're sparring at the gym. So I'm good at sparring at the gym. But if we're gonna take this to the actual like an actual fight where we're taking off our headgear, no, I'm
yeah,
good. I'm not doing that.
okay.
But we got the headgear on, we got all the protection. Like, hey, I'm good. You put the tie shin pads on, we're good, man. Like I'm really good. I could beat you. The moment we take off the headgear and the protective gear, nah, I bow out. My bad.
Yeah, I get that. I get that if but he should have also typically like it would have made more sense if he would have explained like, this is why this is my approach to this matter because I'm a father, because these are my obligations at this point in time. And he's as good of a lyricist to be able to do that in one song, so that he it's not like sprinkled throughout a whole 24 album, 24 song. And he could have made it like a point, like, yeah, this is me, and I would have been like, all right, cool. I get but I didn't get that,
I agree.
you
I
know.
agree. I think if he was gonna talk about the beef, explain, do something like talk about it in a way where it's like human to human. Like, hey, this is what happened. This is why I did this. I'm just trying to grow, or I got caught up in the moment. And okay, we get that. That's something we could all understand. Who hasn't been caught up in the moment? Who hasn't said things that they later regret? But then if you come off with this like passive aggressive and like, I only apologize, or I only didn't go hard on you because I would have beat you and I would have lost a friend. Come on, bro.
Yeah, right. Man, you got that's some sly ass shit right there, man. I swear. I would have beat you, but church that day. Come on,
Yeah,
man. Get
I'm
out
trying
of
to be a
here.
better person and I'm not trying to kill you right now, you know.
Get out of here,
No.
dad. Just don't even drop that track. He drops the tracks you're not supposed to drop. Like he could have leaked that shit, man. But again, he's calling people punk bitch in this album.
Mhm.
Like I'm like, dog, do you not know what you sound like? You're saying you're gonna slide on the you're apologizing for a rap battle. Like
Yeah.
even that, like there was no like he did like a fake call in this album. I don't know, maybe it was a real call at the end of like Poor Thing or something where he called someone. That could have been a call to Kendrick where he was like, hey, he left a voicemail. Like, hey, Dot, like, my bad. I like it would have made I'm just trying to make sure like the story makes sense. Like it has to make sense.
Yeah.
Or even like to Drake, like, hey, Drake, like, hey, you gotta chill out, bro. Or what were you really doing at that Mark Hotel? Like, what was really going on? Like, I would have accepted any of that, but
But look, for example, track 12, Lonely at the Top.
yeah,
One of my first things that I wrote was because this is the last track on that first half. And I'm like,
okay,
okay, I just put Unk Bag activated because there's certain things he's saying in there. And I'm like, okay, he's getting ready. He's getting ready for, the Unk
yeah.
season on this next album. And I put gloomy walk in the rain energy, feels performatively lonely.
Damn, was that another sample time? I'm forgetting. What was that one about?
That one was he's basically talking about how, well, even the title says it, like lonely at the top. He's basically saying, when you
Oh,
when you decide to make certain choices, you end up losing people.
survival's
Yep.
guilt.
And I really, because my brain does, I think I'm a little bit autistic, I think we all are, but like when I start listening to music, I'm like, I create this like picture in my head of like what the person is like describing or their sense of like the energy that they're portraying. And I'm like, this dude's like walking. This dude waited like it's been sunny all for a few weeks, and the one day that is like it got gloomy and rainy. The one day out of the week, the forecast just said, "Hey, Friday is going to be a little gloomy and rainy," and he's like, "I think I'm going to go out for a walk." Really? Like you
Yeah,
picked
yeah.
that day? Like you saw the news, the weather forecast, and you're like, "I'm going to pick Friday. It's going to be a gloomy day to walk," and like now you're just playing. Like, chill.
Yeah. Yeah. It again, and that being, what was that, the last song?
That was the last track of the first half.
Placement. Like, I was like, yo, first off, like, you need a mentor. I need a mentor, but he needs a mentor. Like,
Or a therapist, man. I mean, I know he says he's gone to therapy. I still go to therapy. And my therapist sometimes is like, she told me a long time ago, like, you don't need to keep coming if you don't want. And I'm like, no, I want to. It's like, I tell people like, y'all know like, who goes to the gym? I ask my friends, you guys go to the gym? Yeah, I go to the gym every day of the day. I'm like, I go to the gym because I'm trying to work out my body and keep it in shape.
right,
I also go to the therapy to keep my mind in shape. That's all it is.
right, yeah,
Do I really need it to like, am I overweight in my head? No, I feel like I'm in pretty good shape mentally, but I still got to keep going and lifting them weights. And because I might fall back into like that, in real life, I'm like, I'm a husky guy. Like I got a dad bod. So I'm like, I got to work this physically out more, but
right.
mentally I'm fit. So
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, you got to they're both therapy and the gym. They're equally important. So yeah, again, yeah, I agree. I agree. There's some lack of balance here. I think that if you care for your audience, like you would actually put real stuff on it, right? Like we got Sexy Red Anthem on the album. I'm like, bro, what's really going on here? Like, but yeah, I definitely think that he could have, there could have been a little bit therapy on this. It could have been, a little bit of gym anthem. I mean, other than like, who the fuck is you? I didn't get any anthems on here, like, any songs that I want to play. Who the fuck is you? I'll throw that in the car. That's a truck joint right there. But yeah, I don't know.
no, I didn't get that either. I wrote a lot of notes for, where is it? Bounce Road Blues was dope because you got Alchemist producing it.
Okay.
And then you have Future, but Future was like, what did I put? Alchemist did Alchemist things, beat carries. Cole even admits he sounds repetitive, which is self-aware but doesn't save it. Future's Usher interpolation was the highlight. That's about it.
The balance roll, yeah, it was all right. But again, and this is where I think it's okay that in a way that there's certain implementations. Like I think Alchemist was a good choice because for me, I think it really showcases that we're in a time again where the production or the DJ, the engineer is equally as important as the artist. And I think for a while it was so like, put crazy beat 808s on it, or maybe some abstract, loud rock, contemporary rock anthem in there. Just make it as pop as possible, and make the artist do some like catchy rhymes. Put some catchy rhymes on there. Put a couple catchy hooks on there, and let that be most of the song.
That's the thing about Cole though. And again,
Yeah.
going back to kind of what we learned with Curtis King, and he talks about the mid range. And I feel
Mm,
like J. Cole does not focus on any mid range,
yeah.
even though if he were like he's the mid range player
Okay.
that thinks he's like a shooter. And that's why he's trying to shoot these like Steph Curry like shots. And it's like, bro, that's not even your lane.
It's not even your range.
That's not even your range. Like, why are you
Yeah.
doing that?
Yeah.
Like, you know where your range is, and when you do get in those pockets, like you tend to hit it. But it's
Yeah.
like you just try to avoid it. Like track 11, Bombs in the Ville, Hit the Gas. That's the first time I'm like, is Drake on this album? Like, I put one of my notes was just pay somebody, bro. Beat switches were cool, but it felt like
Oh,
Jermaine's Room, the musical. Like,
oh yeah, I was thinking that too. I was like the beat switches. Sometimes there's a proper way to do it, and there's a wrong way to do it. The wrong way to do it is for it to make it seem like you had to do a beat switch for the
mhm.
song to turn. You're like it, like you just didn't have enough bars to fill up the first, cadence, the first beat.